are our solar panels. There's 16 220 watt panels there, so it's about a 3.5 kilowatt array. They're fine in summer, they produce loads of electricity in the summer, but in the winter, like it is now, they're a bit rubbish. So to assist things, I've added some more. Those ones down there. To help with the winter situation, I've bought another 4 panels, and these are just lashed up and leant against this bank here, and they help a fair bit. This is where the power comes in from our solar panels, through this sort of bundle of assorted cables, and so the power comes in there, and negative all joins up in this mess here, and positive joins up in that mess there, and then it goes through the charge controller, which is saying red and yellow, which is not very good, and then it comes through some fuses and back out through some fuses and down into some batteries. So we've got one lot of batteries along the top shelf and one lot of batteries along the bottom, and they take the charge, and then to give us our mains electricity, our 240 volt electricity, we've got a small 800 watt inverter, a bigger 3 kilowatt inverter, and another 3 kilowatt inverter. This one here does the washing machine and fridges and freezers and computers and that sort of thing. That one there does my workshoppy stuff, so that when I switch the grinder on that one, I don't knock out this one and turn the boy's computer off. So this is all extremely lashed up at the moment. I need to do some proper wiring at some point, which is what this board's doing on the wall over here. The bread maker. Smells lovely. When we have a sort of a week of horrible dismal weather and the battery voltage drops down, we have to run this generator every now and again. And what I've done with this generator well, originally it was a 110 volt generator for sort of site use, which is why it's got these big yellow plugs on it. But how it's wired inside is it's wired such that it's 55-0-55. So what I've done is that I've split the windings, so the windings inside the generator were wired in series, giving 110 volts, and then I split the 2 windings and connected them in parallel to give me around 55 volts. So 55 volts, and then comes into this mess here, and then those 2. I found my hat, by the way, that's excellent. So those 2 wires at 55 volts AC go inside the shed, and then they come up to here. So these 2 wires here are carrying 55 volts AC, and then in here are 4 big diodes, and these big lumps of aluminium plate are heat sinks, and then this is a big bridge rectifier that I've made, and then that converts it to about sort of 54-55 volts DC, and then the positive side goes through this ammeter, so I can roughly see how much power we're putting into the batteries, and then the 2 wires go to the battery connections. So when it's horrible and dismal, I can shove some power into the batteries. I thought I ought to mention, on a safety aspect, you never want to touch that one and that one at the same time. There's about 55 volts across those 2, and I haven't tried doing it yet, and I don't really want to try doing it. It might make me jump or die or something. I'm back to the generator again, because I forgot to say my plan for this generator is to disconnect it here from the engine, because this engine here is horrible. It's extremely noisy, runs on diesel, and I don't want it. I want that bit, which is useful, but that bit's terrible. In the winter we need some more electrical power. So this is my plan. We have 1.5 acres of this biomass willow growing. So this will be cut down, dried, and then I'm going to make a gasifier to power a car engine, to power a generator. And then this willow here will be powering our winter electricity. That's this week's job, is to start work on that bit of equipment. As you can see, we've got some of this previous 2020's harvest still laying there. I still need to drag some of that out, and over there are trees that we haven't yet coppiced, and they're going far too big, and then these ones are the ones we coppiced this year. So it's all a bit of a muddle, but hopefully it will come right at some point. I just thought I'd show you the gases, sort of gasification in progress. So this is our little wood burner, and you can see the wood burning away at the bottom here. It's kind of the primary burn, and then up at the top here you can see the gases burning, and that's carbon monoxide and hydrogen burning off once it gets more oxygen. So that's what I need to capture, is I need to burn my willow with insufficient oxygen and produce lots of this gas. This is the engine that we're going to be using for the wood gasifier, and this is my old car engine. It's a Volvo estate engine. It's already done about 250,000 miles, so but it needs to do a few more yet. That's part of the reason why I chose it, because it's a very tough engine with a big flywheel, so it will run nice and smoothly. Ultimately I want to go for a smaller engine, but to start with I think I need to have something that's a bit more robust. So this is our starting point. So we've got clutch in here and gearbox on the end, so I've got an easy to attach to drive at the other end, and then we'll load all these parts, the engine and the gearbox and the generators, will all be mounted on a big steel frame. So that's the first piece that I've already cut and drilled, and there are the other pieces there. So these are all pieces that a friend had laying around in a field, and I bought them from them, and so that's today's job, is to drill and bolt this thing together. Well, that's where I wanted to get to today. I wanted to get the main frame put together. It's loosely bolted together, nothing's square and nothing's level, and I'm slipping and sliding around in the mud in the rain, so I've decided to stop. I'm going to go inside, have a cup of tea and think about something else.